Podoba vsevišnjega Gospoda je utelešenje večnosti, znanja in blaženosti. Njegovi uhani v obliki morskih psov nihajo sem ter tja. Ta Gospod čudovito blesti v božanski gokuli. Najprej je razbil vrč, v katerem je njegova mati pinila jogurt za maslo, potem pa je ukradel maslo, ki so ga v shrambi hranili obešenega pod stropom. Zaradi te porednosti je v strahu pred materjo Jošodo urno pobegnil stran od lesenega možnarja, vendar ga je mati na koncu le ujela, saj je tekla hitreje. Temu vsevišnjemu Gospodu Šri Damodari izkazujem ponižno spoštovanje. V strahu pred šibo v materini roki joče, z lotosivima ročicama pa si spet in spet mane oči. Oči so mu polne strahu, okoli vratu, ki ga krasijo 3 črte, da spominjajo na školjko, pa nosi biserno ogrlico, ki se od hitrega dihanja ob njegovem joku trese. Temu vsevišnjemu Gospodu Šri Damodari, ki okrog trebuščka ni zvezan z vrmi, temveč čisto ljubeznijo svoje matere, izkazujem ponižno spoštovanje. Z otroškimi zabavami, kot je ta prebivalec Gokule, utaplja v oceanu ekstatičnih čustev. Tistim baktam, ki so zatopljeni v znanje o njegovem veličastju in obilju, daje vedeti, da ga lahko usvojijo le bakte, katerih ljubezen prepaja zaupnost in ne hromi strahospoštovanje. Spet z veliko ljubeznijo 100krat in 100krat izkazujem spoštovanje Gospodu Damodari. O Gospod, čeprav lahko podariš vse vrste blagoslovov, te ne prosim, da me blagosloviš z brezosebno osvoboditvijo, niti ne z najvišjo osvoboditvijo, niti ne s katerokoli drugo ugodnostjo, ki jo dobimo z opravljanjem 9 metod bhakti. O Gospod, želim si le, da se tvoja podoba Bale Gopale iz Vrindavane zavedno naseli v mojem srcu. Kakšna je korist od katerega koli drugega blagoslova? O Gospod, mati Jošoda, znova in znova poljublja tvoj lotosov obraz, obdan s kodri mehkih črnih las z rdečim nadihom. Tvoje usnice so rdečkaste kot sadež bimba. Naj ta čudovita slika tvojega lotosovega obraza zavedno vstopi v moje srce. Na tisoče drugih blagoslovov mi nič ne pomeni. O vsevišnji Gospod, izkazujem ti ponižno spoštovanje. O Damodara, o Ananta, o Višnu, o Gospodar, o Gospod, bodi zadovoljen z mano, blagoslovi me s tvojim milostnim pogledom in odreši tega ubogega nevedneža, potopljenega v ocean materialnega gorja. Pokaži se pred mojimi očmi. O Gospod Damodara, kot dojenček z vrjo privezan k lesenemu možnarju, si sinova Kuvere osvobodil narodovega prokletstva in jo povzdignil v velika bhakti. Prosim te, daj tudi meni svojo prema bhakti. Hrepenim samo po tem in si ne želim nobene oblike osvoboditve. O Gospod Damodara, naj najprej izkažem spoštovanje bleščeče sijajni vrvi, ki veže tvoj trebušček. Na to izkazujem spoštovanje tvojemu trebuščku, v katerem leži ves univerzum. Ponižno se priklanjam tvoji najdražji Šrimati Radarani in izkazujem spoštovanje tebi, vsevišnjemu Gospodu, ki uprizarjaš neštete zabave. Vsa slava Šrimati Radarani in Damodari Gospodu Krišni.
Haribol. Namami Sharam Chachidanandarupam Lashat Kundalango Kule Brajamanam Yashoda Biyalukhalabdhavamanam Paramishtamatram Tadruta Gopta Rudantang muhurnetram yugmam rijantam karam bhaja jagomena satanka netram muhurnetram yugmam rijantam karam bhaja jagomena satanka netram Mohur shashakam patri rekhanka kantha Stitagraiba damoda ram bhakti badam Mohur shashakam patri rekhanka kantha Iti drik sharirabhirananda kunde Shagau shang nimarjantam makapayantam Tadiyeshu tagreshu bhaktarjitatam Pranau prematastam sattabriti bande Varam devamaksham namakshavadim-ba Nachanne vrinehang vareshadapriya Dante Bapurnatha Gopal Balam Shadame Manasha Birastanki Manai Dante mukham bhoja maktanta nilair Britang kundalai snigdha raktaisya gotpa मुहूर्तं वितां बिम्बा रक्ताधरां मे मनसा विरास्तामलं लक्षलाभैः नमो देव दामोदर अनंत विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दोक्ष जलधिमग्न नमो देव दामोदर अनंत विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दोक्ष जलधिमग्न कृपा दृष्टिर्विष्टाति दिनं वातनु गृहणे समामेघ मे रक्षिदृशा कुबेरात्मजौ वर्धमूर्तैव जादात् तया मर्चितौ भक्ति भजकृतौ च तथा प्रेम भक्तिं शाखा मे प्रजर्ष नमक्षग्रामे अस्ति दामोदर्य नमस्ते स्तु दाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिदाम्ने तदीयधराय तविशेषदाम्ने नमो राधिकाय तदीय प्रियाय नमोऽनन्त लीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम् नमो राधिकाय तदीय प्रियाय नमोऽनन्त लीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम् हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jashodada Madara Jashodada Madara Radhe Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurhavani Pracharine Nirvisesa Shunyavadi Paskatya Desatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Prabhudakacharya Asadhara Satushi Shriman His Divine Grace Lacy Bhaktivedanta Smaraj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Haribo Slava Zabrani Bhakta Slava Shri Guru Shri Grangi Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhute Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswatam Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskyatyade Satarne Om Agana Timirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutle Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vasakans Vitams Cha Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishubhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapa Trubhyascha Kripa Sinubhyevacha Patidanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pranitananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivastri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Srimad Bhagavatam Canto, Srimad Bhagavad Gita Canto, Chapter 13, text number, The Nature of the Enjoying Consciousness, text number 34. Ita prakashiyatye kam kritsnam lokam imam ravi kshetram kshetri tata krishnam prakashyati bharata ita prakashiyatye ka kritsnam lokam imam ravi Kshetram Kshetri Tata Krishnam Prakashyati Bharata Yatha Prakashyatykam Kritsnam Lokam Imam Ravi Kshetram Kshetri Tata Krishnam Prakashyati Bharata Yatha Prakashayatyeka Kritsnam Lokam Imam Ravi Kshetram Kshetri Titha Krishnam Prakashyati Bharata. Ladies. Yatha prakashya yeka Krishnam lokim amamrivi Kshetram Kshetri Titha Krishnam Prakashyati Bharata. Yatha as prakashyati illuminates eka one Krishnam the whole lokam universe imam this ravi sun kshetram this body Kshetri, the soul. Tata, similarly. Krishnam, all. Prakashyati, illuminates. Bharata, a son of Bharata. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity, one within the body, illuminate the entire body by consciousness. Please repeat. O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity, one within the body, illuminate the entire body by consciousness. Srila Prabhupada's purport. There are various theories regarding consciousness. Here in Bhagavad Gita, the example of the sun and the sunshine is given. As the sun is situated in one place, but is illuminating the whole universe, so a small particle of spirit soul, although situated in the heart of this body, is illuminating the whole body by consciousness. Thus, consciousness is the proof of the presence of the soul, as sunshine or light is the proof of the presence of the sun. When the soul is present in the body, there is consciousness all over the body, and as soon as the soul has passed from the body, there is no more consciousness. This can be easily understood by any intelligent man. Therefore, consciousness is not a product of the combination of matter. It is the symptom of the living entity. The consciousness of the living entity, although qualitatively one with the supreme consciousness, is not supreme. Because the consciousness of one particular body does not share that of another body. But the super soul, which is situated in all bodies, as a friend of the individual soul, is conscious of all bodies. That is the difference between supreme consciousness and individual consciousness. Text again. Yatha prakashya eka kritsnam lokam imam ravi kshetram kshetri tata kritsnam prakashyati bharata. O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity, one within the body, illuminate the entire body by consciousness. Namo Vishnu Viraya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tanamane Namaste Saraswatam Deve Gauravani Vacharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskadyade Sadarane. So this explains how we're conscious of this body, because we're a very small little soul, 1/10,000th the size of a tip of hair in size. Does anyone get up in the morning and think that they're 1/10,000th the size of a tip of hair in size? Usually we think ourselves a little bit bigger than that. That is, if you take a hair and you divide it up 1,000 times, no, 100 times, I'm sorry. Just divide up, did you ever try and divide a tip of a hair up 100 times? A little difficult, wouldn't it be? And then you take one of those 100th pieces of hair and you divide that up 100 times. That's how big we are. So if you ever become very proud of how big you are, just remember that. It'll put us back into perspective. But although the spirit soul is so small, still it's able to illuminate this entire body with consciousness. So we're just like a little soul illuminating the whole body with consciousness. Whether we be an ant, or germ, or a Brahma. How big is Brahma? Does anyone know how big Brahma is? The body of Brahma? It's quite big. He was born on the top of the lotus flower coming from Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And in that lotus, inside the lotus stem, then Lord Brahma created all the planets. So we're inside a lotus stem. And Lord Brahma sitting on top on a lotus flower on Brahmaloka. So he's big. I don't know exactly how big he is, but the universe is something like 3 or 4 cubits or 6 cubits of Brahma's side, which means that I think it's around 6 times bigger than Brahma. Anyhow, still in that big body of Brahma, there's one little soul illuminating the entire body of Brahma. But of course, generally speaking, to get the body of Brahma, you have to be quite an enlightened soul. Just like, for instance, if you take a fire and you take one spark out of it, not all sparks are equal. Sometimes there are some sparks that, when they're in the right atmosphere, they're practically like another fire themselves. And other sparks, if they fall on the grass or, say, on the sand, they are illuminating, but not very much. They certainly start to smother or smolder. Others who fall on the water, they go, that's it, that's the end of the spark. So according to the development of the spark, he gets different bodies. And the more developed the spark is, the more he's able to get, say, the body of a demigod, or the body of a Brahma, or something like that. And then could you imagine there's Brahmas, our other Brahmas are very small, little tiny Brahma, small but beautiful. He only has 4 heads, and there are Brahmas who have 10,000 heads. There are Brahmas who have 10 million heads. Just imagine if you were a Brahma with 10 million heads and you got a headache. That would be very painful. Hopefully they have something like aspirin and Brahmaloka. Taking care of the universe. Because according to the number of heads that Brahma has, so the size of the universe. So we're actually in the smallest universe. It doesn't feel like that, but anyhow, we're in a small universe. And there are universes 10 million times bigger than this universe. In any case, although we're so small, because of our false ego, we think ourselves to be very big. That is, we compare ourselves according to this body, but of course, this body is not very big. But we try to make it big. As I gave that analogy many times, we wake up in the morning and we look in the mirror and we ask the mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the greatest of them all? And of course the mirror is very supportive. it wants to help our esteem. So it says, my dear soul, by good fortune, after many, many lifetimes of pious activities, Brahmande, Brahmite, Kon Bhagavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bish. So by good fortune, you've had darshan of the deity in the mirror. So please, now that you've been blessed with the darshan of the deity, please render it unalloyed, uninterrupted service today. So we become inspired by such enlightened behavior or enlightenment from the mirror, and we vow to render unalloyed, uninterrupted service to our deity. So if we're a little pious, we begin the day with abhishek, by taking a shower. Then we dress the deity, we decorate the deity, we put cologne or perfume on the deity for our devotees. We offer 6 kinds of foodstuffs to the deity. And then we go out into the world to spread the glories of the deity all over the universe in the name of Sankirtan. So we have a worshipful deity already. There's nothing in this world that sounds, even though we talk about the holy name, but the closest we get to the holy name is when we hear our name. There's nothing sweeter in the world than our name. As soon as we hear our name, our ears kind of expand to soak in the nectar. And those who worship our name, they're our devotees. And those who don't, they're the asuras. And although the fools, they deride at my descending in this human-like form, they don't know my spiritual nature and my future dominion over all the be. Therefore, actually, everyone is the deity worshiper. It's just that we're worshiping the wrong deity, that's all. And we've had so many deities since time immemorial. We've taken one deity after another and worshipped it with all our heart, with all our might, and with all our soul, completely, especially with the soul. But unfortunately, the deity did not eventually accept our service and kicked us out, because it says, Kamadinam katida katida palitas dornideshas. That in so many different ways we've served our body, our deity, but still was never satisfied with our service. In spite of all our sincere effort to serve it, it never was satisfied with whatever service we gave it. And it didn't matter what I did to serve my body, I was never embarrassed by it. I could always justify it because I was serving my deity. And Kamadinam katida katita dorlibdeshas te shamai jata na karuna. And my deity was never merciful to me. No matter how much I tried to solve its problems, it always had one more problem for me to solve. There was never a time I thought, I got all my problems solved. I went to the dentist, I did my exercises, I took my vitamins, I even, put oil in my body today, so I'm all right. No, there's something that will go wrong, guaranteed. And yet we keep on serving. We still have hope. In the future, everything will be, I'll make a perfect situation, a perfect arrangement, so when my soul illuminates this body with the consciousness, all I'll feel is pleasure. But of course, how much pleasure can we get from the body? Just like our finger. How many people have run down the street today saying, my finger feels great? I can't believe how much pleasure I'm getting from my finger. It's so good. My finger just wants to dance. But if I take a hammer and I smash my finger, how much pain can we get from our finger? Our body can give us only a very limited amount of pleasure, no matter how much we concentrate on it. But the amount of pain we can get is practically unlimited. And when we're not feeling any pain from the body, we call that happiness. If we wake up and one day for 15, 20 minutes, there's no problem, we think, my God, what's wrong? Something wrong. There must be some problem somewhere. Otherwise, what's my life worth if I can't solve my problems? Then I have to find someone else's problems I got to solve. And as Prahlad Maharaj said, as soon as I try to solve one problem in this world, then by my solution, I created 5 more problems to solve, which has kept us busy since time immemorial, solving problems. So if we like to solve problems, we've come to the right place, because this world is nothing but problems. And Prabhupada used to say also, we should understand that there's really no difference between one person and the other, because it's not that if I have one kind of body and I feel pain, that I'm different from someone else's feeling pain in a different body. That if a man is hungry, he feels the same hunger than if a woman feels hungry. It's not that I'm a woman, so I don't feel hungry. Or I'm a man, only a man feels hungry. Or if I'm cold, then there's, or as Prabhupada said, there's an American feeling cold. America cold. Or an African cold. No, it's whatever body you have, when you feel cold, everyone feels cold the same way. So we just make these artificial distinctions. I have this body, and therefore I have this cold, or I have this heat, or I have this pain, or you have that pain. So all living entities are feeling the same thing. Now we may say intellectually I'm very much advanced, but actually intellectually advanced means to understand that we're not this body. Everything else is just an attempt to solve the problems of the hot and cold body. Just like this winter, everyone's afraid because the Russians, of course, they feel cold differently from Slovenians. But if there's no gas this year during the winter, then Slovenians will really feel the cold, or the Germans especially. German cold. So it's this artificial division between one body and the other bodies is just artificial. All the souls, they feel the same way. Even if a dog feels cold, he feels cold. And if a human being feels cold, he feels cold. So the soul is illuminating with its consciousness a body, but still basically everyone's experiencing the same thing, the dualities of material existence. Therefore, the idea is not to stop or to try to get in a position where we have a better experience of hot or cold, honor and dishonor, pleasure and pain, etc. The idea is to get out of the conception and put our consciousness on something which will actually be valuable to us, namely something that will be pleasurable all the time, something that will illuminate our real identity as a spiritual being, so we don't have to worry about these temporary bodies that we're in. We don't have to be overly concerned with them, to the point that we think, instead of the body being utilized to serve my interest, I'm being utilized to serve the body's interest. instead of serving Krishna, who's the actual supreme deity, who actually I'm supposed to be in love with, I've grown accustomed to loving and serving a temporary body that is not even conscious. It doesn't love me at all. It doesn't love anything. It just exists because I've created it by my desires. Krishna has given me this body through the material nature, so I can imagine myself to be something I'm not. But all the time I'm the same thing. I'm still a tiny little servant, but I'm just serving the wrong thing. So if that ourselves as tiny little servants can serve the right thing, namely Krishna, then we'll become happy. Otherwise we have to keep on serving these dead material bodies, one lifetime after another one, in different species of life. But actually what we're looking for is the best service, which is Krishna. Prabhupada gives the example that one man, he was living in a village, and he saw that someone was going around and everyone was giving him money. That was a tax collector. So he thought, wow, I should serve the tax collector because he must be really important. Everyone's giving him money. So he became a servant to the tax collector. But then he saw the tax collector was visiting the mayor of the city and giving him the money. So he thought, well, why should I serve the tax collector? The mayor's the one who gets all the money. So then he started to serve the mayor. But then he saw that the mayor was serving the governor of the state. So he said, well, why should I serve the mayor? Because actually it's the governor who's collecting most of the money. So then he became a servant to the governor. But then he saw the governor was giving the money to at that time there was a king, giving it to the king. So he said, well, why should I serve the governor? It's the king who gets all the money. So he started to serve the king. But then he saw the king, he's giving the money to the emperor. So he said, well, maybe I should serve the emperor. But then he saw the emperor went to the temple and he gave the money to the priest. So then he decided to serve the priest. But then he saw the priest was serving the Panchatattva. So then he became a servant of the Panchatattva. And eventually he realized the Panchatattva was Radha and Krishna, so he became a servant of Radha and Krishna. And then he was happy. That's where his service ended. Any questions or comments? What's that? Eventually. They're all using it in Krishna's service, they just don't realize it, that's all. Any questions or comments? At least I asked the question. But I haven't gotten an answer. Okay. Thank you, Grantaraj Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaur Premanande.